Often we talk about stacking and leaving gold and silver to our loved ones to give them a head start towards wealth. But what if we could do more? What if we could leave them gold, silver, and a wealth plan that feeds itself and only continues to grow? This isn't about getting rich quick, easy, or fast, but it is about how many of the ultra rich built their family foundations. In this video, I want to pull back the curtain a little and show you my plan in hopes of helping you develop your own generational wealth cycle using gold and silver. How does one get rich? Well, there are a lot of books that will tell you how to get rich, but I almost always walk away feeling like the summary of the book should be how to write a book about how to get rich in order to get rich, if that makes sense. We know getting rich quick doesn't work. We know winning the lottery doesn't help because most people end up poor a few years after winning it. We know it's not easy because if it was easy, everyone would be rich. So what is it? Well, I don't pretend to know the answer. But wait, don't give up on me yet. What I do know from all that I read, learned, and lived is that there are a few key pillars or concepts, and two of which stand out the most. One is about a mentality about money, and the second one is about income, and not just any income, but very specific types of income. As a result, I want to focus on how our metals can help us in this process. What I've learned from my research and studies is that the rich overutilize very specific income streams and investment vehicles. Those are real estate, businesses, wealth preservation tools, OPM or other people's money, and tax reduction. It doesn't seem to matter if they made their money in a business that they built. They almost always have held and protected their wealth in real estate and or vice versa. And the key to both of these, it always comes back to wealth preservation, OPM, and reducing taxes. This nexus of businesses, real estate, OPM, wealth preservation, and reducing taxes almost come together like a Voltron to become this giant undefeatable robot. So where am I going with this? Okay, other than that being a little rude, but I probably deserve that after my last video. Well, one of my challenges with the stacking community is the common mantra of buy, never sell, leave to your children. Some of you have heard me speak on this before, but I have zero intention of doing this after years of suffering through the down cycle, the sideways movements of the market, finally catching a bull market, riding it to the top, only to ride the investment cycle down and watch my metals lose value. No way. No disrespect to the crypto people, but us metal investors definitely need to learn from how the smart money got off on the top floor, locked in their profits, transferred their wealth, and watched the bear jump out the window and take everyone else's money. Remember, you can never go broke making a profit. I know, some of you are out there thinking, well, why would I trade my real money for depreciating fiat? That's exactly where I'm going with this. I don't have any intention of trading my real money for fiat and stopping there. As stackers, we're focused on real money, but we should also be focused on real assets. Real doesn't stop with our real money in the form of metals. My submission is our real money in the form of gold and silver is exactly where we start. Let me share my plan with you, and like a buffet, you take what you like and decide what makes sense for you. Let's start by setting up a scenario with some nice, easy numbers, and I'm going to use what I think are conservative stacking numbers. Let's say I owned 1,000 ounces of silver and 50 ounces of gold. We fast forward in time, and silver is $100 and gold is $3,000 an ounce. And it seems like the metals are at the top of the cycle, and I decide to lock in my profits and sell it all. Breathe, stick with me folks, I know. But after I sell, I have $100,000 from silver, $150 from gold in worthless fiat paper. But I'm excited. I'm excited because this is where the game of money begins and really gets to become fun. So I've got $250K in my account. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna steal some plays out of the Wealthiest playbook. I'm gonna choose option one and purchase a rental property. Let's say a duplex. But it has to be in a market where it can cash flow, which may be out of my area or even out of my state. I know someone out there is thinking, I don't want to be a landlord and take calls about clogged toilets in the middle of the night. Neither do I. Paid a property manager 8 to 10% of the rent to deal with all those issues. You see, I didn't want the labor pains. I just wanted the baby. Not like that. Can we just be serious for once? Back to the scenario. Let's say that we find a $500,000 property and we put 20% down. So we put $100,000 down as a down payment on this property. And in real estate, a good cash on cash return is anywhere from 8 to 15%. We'll use a conservative 8%, which means that the property will have an $8,000 cash flow a year which is a little over $650 a month. And that's after all the expenses. So what do I do with that $650 in worthless fiat? And I slowly buy back my metals position. In the meantime, I have 2 tenants working every day to pay down the mortgage while the property is appreciated at 5% yearly or by $25,000 a year, compounding with a cash flow, which is considered passive income, so it's only taxed at a cap rate of 20%. One of the hidden beauties of real estate is that you now have a business, at least in the eyes of the IRS, which means you can write off an incredible amount of expenses, not just related to real estate, but to your life as well. Expenses that you can't write off as a wage earner, a home office, a cell phone, mileage, trips to visit your property. Oh, guess what? I could take a trip to Hawaii, and as long as the purpose of that trip is to look at potential real estate investments, and I do real estate related activities every day, I can write off that entire trip. Home internet, a percentage of my utilities, my home mortgage, and a whole slew of other things now become deductible. By the way, one of those awesome tax benefits of real estate is I also get to depreciate the value of the property every year. It's a paper expense or a write-off, not a real expense. Get the taxman out of your pocket like the rich do. Love him or hate him, this is part of why Donald Trump never had to pay taxes. Don't get me wrong, I completely agree that we should pay Caesar whatever Caesar is owed, but we shouldn't pay him a cent more. To recap, with rolling over our profits from metals into a rental property, we've engaged one of those key pillars the rich use: real estate for passive income, long-term appreciation, an inflation hedge, tax advantages, business, at least in the eyes of IRS, wealth preservation. We get to leverage it with other people's money and we reduce our taxes. What to do with the remaining 150K is the next thought. I'm going to find me a passive business. I'm not going to start a business that requires me to show up every day for 9 hours. I don't want to be there to babysit it every day. I want freedom. I want something to run without me or with very little of my involvement, and that I can maybe even outsource someone else to do a lot of that work. So I like to think about these as passive businesses. And here are some of my favorite passive businesses: any home-based business, vending businesses, like the soda and candy machines, laundromats, self-service car washes, and public storage. While those are my favorite, if I had to pick 2, it would be car wash and laundromat, because they don't require a bunch of employees and they offer a lot of opportunities for additional income. Your laundromat can make money the way it is, but you can also add a fluff and fold service to increase revenue. You can add video games. My favorite, you can add a vending business to your laundromat or your car wash. You can reasonably buy and build a laundromat from anywhere from $200,000 to $400,000, and they generate anywhere from $20,000 to $300K a year in cash flow. Or keeping it simple, you could just start a vending business. They are cash cows, and you can pay someone else to go around every day restocking the vending machines and collecting your money. The point is having another business generating income, offering tax advantages, using other people's money if you do a loan. Again, all of the same things the rich do. The point is taking your metal money and putting it into something else real, something else that generates cash flow and revenue and appreciates. Because as I showed you in the real estate example, all we're going to do is take that cash flow and put it back into buying our metals or expanding the businesses. Here's the reality. As metals investors, we tend to become so focused on real money, our failing fiat, and that the world is generally falling apart around us, that we don't plan beyond investing in metals. We don't learn to think like investors. Instead, we think like savers. Maybe it's possible, but I can't think of many people that said, I saved my way into wealth. What I submit to you is that we have to shift our mentality from just simple stackers to what I call stacking investors. And actually, I will cover that in the next video. We have to learn how to take full advantage of all the hard work it took to accumulate these metals and leverage those efforts. One simple way to define leverage is the ability to do more with less. Making more money using less of our own money, making more money using less of our physical labor and time, making more money by having others pay for our lifestyle. Once you get this wealth generation plan or cycle together, the fun really begins then, because you can do things like refinance one of your properties, take the cash out of that property, and then buy another rental property, and then repeat the cycle all over again with another cash flowing business. Also notice, The businesses that I shared are all inflation resistant businesses. Each of these businesses do require some specialized knowledge. So if you're interested, I suggest you start learning today. Become familiar with it before you have the money. Each of these industries have some form of a regulatory or an association that you can join and start learning right now. They have classes, courses, and everything you can need. Here's my disclaimer. One, if you think I'm a financial advisor or someone that can give you financial advice, you probably should have stopped watching this channel a long time ago. Two, some of these are very complicated maneuvers that we're talking about, and you need a team of people around you advising you and supporting you. So start thinking about that team and who you need and finding those individuals. Three, what I shared was a 15-minute watered down version of a complicated plan, my plan. And you have to create your own plan that fits your risk tolerance, skills, and knowledge level. Four, I'm not saying that you have to do any of these steps as described. That's almost not the point. What I want is for you help you open up your mind to the possibilities and the opportunities that are available if we can let go of the hold on to your medals forever mentality, never sell mentality, and only pass them along. Why can't we pass on real estate and businesses just like the ultra rich do? Why can't we break our poverty cycles and create generational wealth? It's not like how they do it is a secret anymore. We all want financial freedom and generational wealth. And let me speak for myself right now. This is so important because I don't want my daughter to ever see me crying at a table trying to figure out which and how I'm going to pay the bills, or opening an empty refrigerator, or coming home to the lights being out, not having enough money to put gas in the car, unable to give her lunch money for field trips, and all the things I had to watch my mother live through. With all the thanks to God, my daughter has never had to deal with that. And Lord willing, that will never be her narrative, because I'm on a journey to create generational wealth. And if you don't have anyone to leave it to, then create your own generational wealth for your remaining days. You all know how I feel about the power of positivity and our ability to speak things into existence. So regardless of whether you like, love, or hate the plan I shared, it doesn't matter. If your plan is still to buy, hold, and pass it along, it doesn't matter. We all agree that it's about our wealth and breaking free of a system that gives us jobs, J-O-B, which are designed to keep us just over broke, or a system that is so perverted that they think we will own nothing and be happy. Let's get our piece of the pie, if not the whole pie itself. And I want you to claim it in the comment section by typing wealth or generational wealth. And as a kind of a spur of the moment thing, anyone that types wealth or generational wealth and is a subscriber, because I feel like it's only fair to do it for subscribers, I'm going to send out some Stackers University swag. I probably need to get some good karma going after the last few days here. So if you comment wealth or generational wealth and you subscribe, I'm going to send out some Stackers mugs to folks, stickers. I got coasters, keychains, magnets, whatever. I'll even throw in for a few people. I'll even throw in some like constitutional coins or something like that. So I don't know how many I'm going to do. So make sure you get in there, type wealth or generational wealth. Make sure you subscribe so that I can know that. And then we'll pick a few winners and we'll see how it goes from there. There was a lot to digest in this video, so please give yourself an A+, because you are always my A+ students. Always stack smarter and never stop learning.